everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a sewing vlog for my birthday dress. I'm taking myself out to the botanical garden for a picnic. It's a solo picnic and I'm so excited about it. We have 2 weeks left until my birthday and I'm literally counting it down. Also, I am starting a new series where I'm going to be sewing modest outfits for summer. Also, the skirt of the dress, as you can see, it's a gathered skirt, so it does not need a pattern. I just need to multiply the measurement of my waist and cut it, and then I'm gonna gather it. I also decided that the length of the dress from my waist all the way to my feet is going to be around 75 centimeters, which means it's going to be a midi length. As you can see, this is how long the dress actually is. So let's get to cutting fabric. I'm gonna show you the fabric that I'm going to be using for this dress. So I will be using this fabric. This is an Armani linen fabric. It is the most expensive fabric I've ever bought for myself and I'm very excited about that. I hope I don't mess this up and this just looks really nice. And I'm also going to be using a light linen fabric because this fabric is see-through. Linen does have the reputation of being see-through, but it's okay. It's a beautiful fabric. It was not supposed to be white, but I just moved to a new city. I went to a fabric store looking for a very beautiful pink lining fabric. I found it only to find out that it was twice the price of the lining fabric back in Pretoria, but the white one was actually cheaper. So I ended up saying, okay, white is it. It's not that bad. So I ended up taking white. So let's get started with the cutting of the fabric. To begin, I'm gonna be cutting the paper pattern. You might be wondering why is she using the sale papers of Cash Crusaders. Oh my goodness. I don't buy pattern papers. I always use the sale papers that I have available. Guys, I'm not going to shops taking their sale papers to make patterns, okay? I just bought a fridge at Cash Crusaders and I happened to just get this. Anyway, to digress, I have always cut my own patterns. I was not aware that there are people who did not know how to do this because I'm a self-taught fashion designer, but I will be making pattern cutting tutorials in the future on how I teach you how to make your own patterns. So look out for that because this video is not a tutorial. I'm just showing the process it takes to make a dress. And I just want to take you along through that. Soon tutorials will be coming. So this is the completed pattern for the burst area. I'm trying to do a V-neck design like this. Right here is that corset area where we're just gonna like scrunch up this part and we're just gonna like put it in here. But this is like that corset area where from the underburst all the way to the waist, and this is how we are going to attach this once I have like gathered it together. I hope I'm explaining properly. And this is the back area of the top. Notice that I have not shown the sleeve yet. That's because I do have a pattern for the sleeve that is already ready. Now it's time for me to trace those pattern papers that I was cutting into the lining fabric. I'm also leaving a 1 centimeter seam allowance on the side. So I'm going to be cutting the back now, and if you look right here, you will notice that the seam allowance from here is a little bit bigger. I have not measured actually because I normally do not measure when I'm sewing for myself. We just go with it. So yeah, it's actually 2 centimeters. I am very accurate. Literally 2 centimeters. So yeah, it's usually 2 centimeters right here in the middle, because if you can look here, it's a neckline and then this is where the zip is gonna come. So because of that, the seam allowance must be a little bit bigger than the seam allowance on the other side, which I usually make 1 centimeter. Now this is what I call the closet area, and I'm going to just continue cutting because I accidentally started cutting with the camera off. On this part of the sewing process, I will be using those lining fabrics that I traced to cut the actual outside fabric. Because I've already cut the seam allowance, you'll see that I'm not leaving out the seam allowance. Now I'm cutting the back part of the dress, and I just wanted to talk a little bit while we work. This year I want to start making modest outfits for summer. I have never really gone on an actual journey of wearing modest dresses. I think I've come a long way because I always believed I was one person who could not wear long skirts because they would make me look like somehow, because I'm a very short person. But lately my style has been changing. I've really just had this desire to start designing clothes that glorify God, especially because as a fashion designer you do influence people with the work that you do. Okay, I just want to take a break from that conversation to explain what I'm doing here. So I'm currently cutting the sleeve. As you can see, there's this like big gap. When I cut a sleeve, I usually fold the fabric and then I will leave out a 20 centimeter gap for the gathers. However, if you are confused, I have a sewing tutorial that I made last year on how to cut and how to sew a gathered sleeve. You can go look at that so that you can learn how to do it, because this video is definitely not a tutorial. It's just me showing you my sewing process. I actually thought I was filming, turns out I was not. I also cut the corset area. I call it the corset area. I don't know what else to call it, but I've cut it now. So today is the next day and I finished cutting everything, and now it's time to sew. Today my goal is to make sure that I sew through all the gathers, create the gathers for the arms and for the skirt. I think I also need to create the gathers for the burst area, so I'm looking forward to that, and I cannot wait to bring you guys along to this part of the sewing. So now I have these two parts of the burst area of the dress, and I'm just gonna sew around it and then overlock it, and then when I'm done we're gonna start working on putting together the top part of the dress, and I'm gonna take you along through that process. To continue with our conversation, the modesty journey can be truly frightening, especially for someone who's sharing her work online, because the Christian community, though we don't always mean it, can be truly vicious and unforgiving. I have a Christian podcast on this channel, so I have different crowds of people coming in and out of my channel. It's frightening. I've received mean comments. But I just want to say this. The sanctification process is a personal thing and it's a journey. God works on us differently. There is no need to shame each other. I think we must, as individuals, continue to work out our salvation with fear and trembling, and stop looking at others on what they're doing wrong, because we might miss what we're doing wrong. I am done sewing, and now I'm just gonna unfold it and iron it. I truly just had a goal in the beginning of this year to be able to represent God well with my work, and I believe this is just a change of heart that God has been working on me as I get closer to Him, to model Him well, to be able to bring His vision to life with the gifts that He gave me, because I now recognize that it was Him who gave me this gift. So I cannot wait to show you what I designed this summer. Now in this part I will be hand making gathers because my sewing machine cannot do it. For the burst area, you will see it as I start making it. I always sew these two lines on the part where I want to gather in, then later I will scrunch it up and you will see how it will turn out, because I don't think I can even explain that process right now. So I have this part of the dress, which is the back of the dress, and I'm just gonna sew this back together in a straight line, and then after that I'm going to unfold and iron like I did with the burst area, and then we're gonna attach everything together. So this is the front part, the burst area, and then this is the back. As you can see, I've also seamed this area. So now we're just gonna combine the back part of the dress and the front. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually like pin it with the pin, and I'll show you how I'm gonna sew it. If you look, you will see that I pinned it this way. This is so that when I sew it, it can look like this. It will look like this, and it will give us a clean finish from inside out. So that's how I'm going to sew it on the inside right here. And I'm gonna do it for both the parts because there's two of them, this one and this one. So let's get started with the sewing. Done. I've sewed this area, I have overlocked it. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I do need to iron this seam, so I'm gonna quickly go do that now. I did just that, so it looks a little bit more stable. My iron is a little bit weak. Okay, so it's going to have to be like this for now. So this is what it looks like. This is what I was trying to accomplish by sewing it on the inside, and this is basically the look. Definitely impressed. So this is the front part. Now I'm going to basically scrunch this part up, and then scrunch it all up, and then put in the waist part here, and that's what I'm going to sew in, and I'll show you when I am done. Almost done with the top part of the dress. I sewed this part together. I am obsessed with this design. I've never done it before like this. This is good at least. And the inside also is like this. It's very like clean the way I sewed it. Obviously, as you can see, it's so beautiful. I cannot believe I'm the one who made this. So now I am going to put in sleeves. Now that we're about to go sew the sleeves, I also have to create those gathers by hand. As you can see, it's just 2 lines that I'm gonna scrunch up later. If you are stressed and confused, remember that on this channel I have a detailed sewing tutorials for gathered sleeves, which you can go look at. I think it will help you understand more. As you can see, this is the sleeve, and this is the part that I gathered. So before we attach the sleeve to the dress, we have to make sure that I do the gathers for the arm part. So I have this thing that I've already sewed and folded and so on, and I need to create the gathers. And what I'm gonna do is just to pull them like this. We have 2 lines so that they can create even gathers. So I'm just gonna continue to do that. Now the job is to make sure that I even out the gathers and they are even. There, it's even and it's equal, so I'm gonna attach it together. If you look, I'm about to go sew this bottom sleeve right here, and then after that I can start sewing it on top on the dress. So this is the sleeves. I am done sewing them together. I'm done putting in this little tape right here. So now I'm gonna sew this together on the top. So I have attached it to the top, and now I'm just gonna go sew it. So we are back to creating gathers, the straight two lines that you might be familiar with, even though if you might not understand much, because I don't know if I'm making much sense. This one is for the skirt of the dress, the inner lining, and then this one is for the outer lining of the skirt of the dress, and then after that we're just gonna sew the skirt, and then we can finally try the dress on. I cannot wait to show you. So I'm actually currently sewing the skirt part of the dress, and then after that I'm gonna try out the dress for you guys. Actually, I also have to sew the zip. Okay, I do have a missing footage, but I'm just gonna reveal the dress for you guys so that you can see. All I did was to attach the skirt to the dress and the zip, so you saw most of the process. Let's just look at the dress together.